So in previous class, I explained the what are the props in React. So props are the data which is coming from the outside the component. So if you want to pass a data to a component, through the props, we are passing the data to the components. The data which is coming from the outside the component. Okay. Now in today class, I will explain the what are the state. What is state? State is an object which gives the component related information. Okay, so state is an object which holds some information related to that component. It is like a component level data. Okay, state అనేది కాంపోనెంట్ సంబంధించిన ఒక ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ మెయింటైన్ చేస్తుంది, ఒక ఆబ్జెక్ట్ రూపంలో మెయింటైన్ చేసింది. ఓకే, ఆ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ ఆ కాంపోనెంట్ లెవెల్లోనే ఉంటుంది. ఓకే, బయట నుంచి రాదు. ఆ స్టేట్లో ఉన్న డేటా కాంపోనెంట్ లెవెల్లోనే ఉపయోగించుకుంటాం. సో ద స్టేట్ డేటా వీఆర్ యూజింగ్ ఇన్ ద component level only. You cannot use outside that component. So state is an object which holds the some component information. Okay, state and the object component information maintain this. For example, I have class here, class component here. Okay, if you want to, I want to hold some information name. Okay, name into the state object. So then what I will do is, in the component class constructor, I create an object. This their state. Okay, state equal to state is nothing but an object. Okay, okay, now in this object I am holding one information called name. Name it Prakash. Okay, so now this component information, some information, the component related information we are maintaining in the state objects. స్టేట్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్ రూపంలో మనం ఒక కాంపౌండ్ సంబంధించిన కొంత డేటాని ఈ డేటాని మన కాంపోనెంట్ లెవెల్లో యూజ్ చేసుకోవడానికి మాత్రం యూజ్ చేస్తాం, అవుట్ సైడ్ ద కాంపోనెంట్ యూజ్ చేయం. సో ఇఫ్ యూ వాంట్ టు యూజ్ ద కాంపోనెంట్ లెవెల్, there is a state object which holds the component information. Okay, so if you want to use the state object into the view, okay, ఈ కాంపోనెంట్ సంబంధించిన స్టేట్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ మనం వ్యూలో యూజ్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. So static dynamic, if you want to use some dynamic data in the state object, this is the format. Okay, this state is equal to no. Now I want to use name property from the state object in my view, in my view. And then a component view lo state lo ఉన్న property ని యూజ్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. ఇప్పుడు ఈ state name
sorry, not able to see the screen. Your screen.
Not able to.
I'm not able to see the screen.
Sorry,
you shared
sir.
the
screen. You people not telling till now. Okay. Okay. Now you see my screen, right? You see my screen?
Now can see.
Yeah.
Now.
So state is nothing but a state is an object which holds the component information. Okay, state is an object. The state is an object which holds the component information, and that object information only component level. You cannot use that state object information. You cannot use that state of object information outside the component. And the state లో ఒక object component సంబంధించిన ఒక information object లో maintain చేస్తాము, అది state. How can you write like, for example, I want to maintain any state object in class component. I use this the state. It's called it's an object. So now I have state object but is empty. Now I want to add some property to the component level. Okay, so I might name property. Okay, now I have a state object, I have a name property. I can use this name property in the state object only in the component level. That means we can use the state object information into our component view. So component view lo state object యొక్క information మనం యూజ్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. So state object ఎలా క్రియేట్ చేస్తాం? This dot state equal to name equal property. Now I want to use this name property into my component view. So how can you use? So it's nothing but the JavaScript. So what I will do? I will do curly brackets. That means here I write the JavaScript. So here I am using I want to use the name property from the state object. So what I will do is this dot state the name, right? So let me run this output. How can I start npm start? So now this data is not coming from the outside. Here the data coming from the outside is the props. So how can you use the props? This is the props, and on the props is an object. So props is the data object which is coming from the outside. State is the data object which we are maintaining the component. So we can use the state object information in the component view. Okay. Now let's see. So in the footer, I use the Prakash. So in the footer object, I use the Prakash. So now I am using the state object information into my view. If we have another property like is, so what is, so I can use this one, this dot state dot is. Okay. So let's see. So 25. So here we are using the one state object. The state object holds the information related to component. Component సంబంధించిన డేటాని మనం ఒక ఆబ్జెక్ట్ రూపంలో మెయింటైన్ చేసుకుంటాం. ఆ కాంపోనెంట్ ప్రాపర్టీస్ ఉంటాయి. ప్రాపర్టీస్ అన్నట్టు props is different and information. This state is a information about the component which we are using in the this component level only. But props are data object which is coming from the outside. So what is the difference between the props and ops? Props is a data object which is coming from the outside the component to this component. State is a local object which we are which holds the component information. Okay. So we can, if we want to use the props information, this the props the property name. If you want state information, this state the property name. Okay. Now the second thing is, so here two things I explained. So state is an object which holds object which holds component information, right? State is an object which holds the components information. So it is like it is component level data. This is a component level data. So we can use this state, right? Now, so any component level data state and component level just outside the component you can use. Now, second thing is, the most important thing is we cannot change state information directly. So we cannot change state information directly. So with state information we cannot change. So for example, I have a state object, I have the property is and value is 25. Now I want to change this property is property as 35. So if you change like this dot state dot this dot state dot age equal to 45. Okay. So what do you think? So the age must be 45, correct? Let's see. 45, right? Now, so okay, now so you are changing in the constructor. Okay, in the constructor. Okay, let's see. Now I have so now okay, now you understand the state, right? You understand now we'll explain the events functions. Okay, here I am writing a button. Okay, change is okay, change is. So now I have a button here, right? I have a button here. If now my intention is, if I click this button, I want to change this is okay. So what I will do is, for the button, now I am adding the events for button for on click. So generally in JavaScript we write the click events like on click like that, right? So here also we write the on click like this. equal to, here you write the curly brackets. That means here you write a function. So you can write a function here. Function in the class we have the method and we have function here. Like the change name, change age. Okay. I write a function like arrow function. So if I click the button, I'm calling this function. Okay. Let's see here. Control dot log just check. So what changing is, so what I'm doing, I write a function. This function is printing that changing age. Now if I click the function, if I click this button, I'm calling this function. So if I click the button, I get the console changing age, right? Let's see. Spell change is same spelling. See where the function, right? Just a minute. Both are same. It is okay. Here we write the class, right? So here we write the one class. Sorry. Okay, let me explain clearly. Here I have a class. I have write a method. Okay, and method. When click the button, I want to call this function, right? So this function, this method. So this function means this dot change age, right? That means we are, when we click the button, we are calling the this function which is within the class. Class లో ఉన్న చేంజ్ అనే ఫంక్షన్ ని కాల్ చేస్తుంది. అందుకే దిస్ ద చేంజ్ ఏజ్ అని పెట్టాం. ఓకేనా? లెట్స్ సీ. Let's inspect. Okay. So now if I click the change age, what I need to print, this console must be print. So what I did is I write a function change age. When I click the button, I call this method. Okay. In that method, when I click the button, this console must be print. Okay. See, changing age, right? So this is like, these are the event, how to write the events in the React. So I have a very separate method. When I click the button, I call this function. Okay. Now, my intention is, if I click the button, I want to change the state is. Okay. So when I click the button, I call this function. This function, I write the logic to change the age property in the state. So what you will do is, generally what you will do is dot state dot age equal to 45. You write like this. So what is this? When we click the button, I call this function. In this function, I'm changing the age property from the state. Okay. So when we click the button, here the age must be showing as the 45. Let's see. Okay, initially it is 25. Now I'm clicking the button. Is the age change? I click the button, but is the age changing? Not changing. Why? Because we cannot directly change the state value. We cannot change directly the state value. So directly, if we assign a value directly, the state value, the state object value cannot be changed. So you must remember, we cannot change the state information directly. So, but if you want to change the state information, we can change. We can change state information by calling setState method. Okay. If you want to change the state information, we cannot change directly assign the value. So we need to use the setState function. This is the setState function. Now, what you want to change? You want to change age as for 50, right? So now what you will do is, what is the previous state? So now I already told you, right? In the JavaScript, let me go to JavaScript now. Okay, I'm going JS Wizard. Okay, I have an object. I want to create the new change. I want to create this object. I want to create the new object with changing the only color value. What you will do? Anybody? నాకు ఇలా ఆబ్జెక్ట్ ఉంది ఓన్లీ కలర్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ మార్చి ఇంకో కొత్త ఆబ్జెక్ట్ క్రియేట్ చేయాలి ఏం చేస్తారు మీరు ఎనీబడి కెన్ ఆన్సర్ I have an object I want to change this object by changing the property name color property name what you will do I want to create a new object only with changing the color value what you will do anybody can answer
We'll set foreground or property, I think.
with
Foreground property.
Foreground property that means
Yes.
you know spread operator right I already told you in the JavaScript classes okay so if you want to create a new object I use spread operator. Now I want to change the only color value. So now, see right, only color value I change, the title value I change. So I have an object. I want to change only particular property and creating the new object. This is the using the spread operator. We are changing like this. That's why I told you in the starting of the React class. I told you yes, it's features. This spread operator explained. Right? Wrong. I'm right or not? Gaurav explained right?
Right. I got it.
So the question is, if I have an object, if I want to change this object by changing I want to create a new object, only the color property want to change. What you will do? నాకు ఆబ్జెక్ట్ ఉంది నాకు కొత్త ఆబ్జెక్ట్ కావాలి ఓన్లీ కలర్ వాల్యూ ఒకటే మాట్లాడి బ్లూగా మార్చాలి ఏం చేస్తారు స్ప్రెడ్ ఆపరేటర్ యూజ్ చేసి చేస్తారు ఓకే ఇన్ ద సేమ్ వే నౌ హియర్ we are changing the state object only the age value so what you will do so let's take the here the what we are doing this is the state the start date comma what we are doing we are changing age property only right so age 45 okay now let's see the output something miss sorry here is it's changed 45 right so that means we cannot change the state value directly I mean by direct if you want to so what you think so I can change the state value that's the state dot age equal to 45 but the thing is we cannot change the state value directly that's why even click the button that is not changing so if you want to change using this setState method using setState method we can change the state object values if you want to only change particular object this is the way so using the spread operator so here I want to change the only age property and I want to create a new state okay and one more thing is for every if state value change again the component enter again that means for example initially the component is loading if you change the state automatically again the component will load I will clearly tell see the constructor I'm doing the console.log hello is rendering okay now see so first two times is rendering okay clear if you click the button generally it's not called because I want to load the component again but if If you are clicking the button, you are changing the state. If you change the state, again the class component will be re-rendered. Okay. It's not re-rendered. Okay. Generally, if you change the state, the view will be re-rendered. This view, I will show you. So why here thing is why the complete load is not rendering? I will tell you. So here I have the ball, this one, right? This one, right? So let's see. Generally, if you click the button, the function will call. I'm changing the state value. If state value change, the component will re-render again. But the thing is, if you click the change, only the particular node will be changed, not complete DOM. It's not rendering the complete DOM. It's rendering the only the particular node only is changing. This concept is the virtual DOM concept. I will explain later regarding that. Okay. Now the thing is, if we cannot change the state value directly, if you want to change the state value using the state function. Are you clear? How can you write the function? How can you call the events by click and call them function? And how can you create the state object? How can you create the set state? Is everyone clear? Okay. Next. Now, how to call the state in the functional components? In the class component, we are using just the state. If you want to change the state value, we are using just the state. But in the functional component, if you want to create any state, we are using one hook. This is called hook. Means in the functional component, there is some functionality. Using that functions, we can create some more some functionalities. Those are called the hooks. Hooks hold some from. So if you learn the functional components, you need to know what are the hooks available in the functional components. Now, I'm telling about the use state hook. Okay, use state hook. Use state is used for to create state objects in functional components. Okay. Yeah, generally in the class components, you can directly this the state you can use, but in the functional component you cannot do that one. If you want to create the state in the functional component, we need to use the use state. How to write for example, I want to create the one state like title, constant title. Okay. Like this, and you use the function use state. Okay, use state. So title using the use state, we need to import this use state from the React. Sorry. So we need to import the use state first from the React. Okay, you need to import the use state from React, and we use that function. Okay, you can use that function. Okay, so I create using the use state, I create the one property, state property title. I give the default value like new title. Okay, so I create the one state property with the name title, the default value new title. Now I'm using this state in my view like title. Okay, now like title. Okay, see here you need to where I call the new title. I call this is about this is the header, right? Here is the header. This is the header. Why is not coming? So sorry, it's not like this. It's like this one. Okay. So I create the state property using use state, and I assign the new value new title. So now I get the new title, right? This is the way how we create the state in the functional components. Using the use state function, we create the state title and give the value new title. So I am using this title. Now, I create a button here. Okay. Change state. Okay. On click. Okay. On click. Same as functional components. Here I write the function here. Change title. Okay. Now I call this function change title. So here we directly call the function name, but in the class component we use the this. Okay, you remember that one. Okay. Changing title. Let's see. Change title is not defined. That means this function is not there. Title is there, right? Okay. Why it's not coming? We cannot directly call this function. This is the constant. We put the constant here. Then we can get the value. So here I call the function change title. Okay, when I click the button, I call in the function change title. Let's see. Okay. I got right control right. This is the way how we write the events in the functional components. When I click the on click button, I call this function. This will print to this one. Okay. Now, if we click the button, I want to change the title property. Title state property, title state value. In the class component, we are using the this state, but this set state. Okay. But in the functional components, you can define here. After the state title name, for example, you define the state property as title. If you want to change the state property, you can define like set title, T capital. Okay. So now you want to call this value, this function is a function. This is a function here. So you need to call this one. And you need to assign the new value. Otherwise, so you want to think generally, so I can give the title equal to second title. Okay. So what you so I directly changing the so here you are directly changing the title value. Let's see it's changing or not. Is changing? Is changing? It's not what is assignment the constant because here state is the constant. We cannot change the constant value. You know, right? So if you want to change the state values, you need to use the set function. So here we are using the set title function. So instead of directly, so here instead of directly assign here, what you do is you will give the set title. So what you are in the second argument you give here, that you do the function here. So you are changing title value using this function, set title function, but not directly assigning the value because title here constant. You cannot change the constant directly. So if you want to change state value, use the set title, set state function like set title. Let's see now. You change or not? You change it or not? Change correct? No. Let's say another example. Any clear doubt? Are you clear, right? Are you clear? Any doubts? So this is the way how we create the states in the functional component. So let's think. Let's create the. I want to create another constant description. Okay. So I create description. I just sample. Okay. So here what is I create the description state where description state property. I give the sample value, give the default value as sample. So if you use description here, so by this value is coming, the sample value coming here. Is coming right sample? No. If you want to click the button, I want to change this description value. You cannot do direct, you cannot assign value directly here, right? What you will do is here you create the other function, set DC. So you need to call this function set the EC, and you need to give the value, new description, right? So if you click the, so initially the state value, yeah, I have two state, one is title, one is description. So if you click the button, changing the title and description also. Let's see, both are changing, right? So this is the way how we create the state in functional components, how we change the description, and these are the events, how we handle events in the functional components. So are you clear, right, today class? Are you clear today class? Functional component, class components, any doubts? Gaurav, are you clear? Gaurav, are you clear?
Yes.
Are you clear, Khan? Any doubts are there? Is it 5 years Khan? Any doubts are there? It's clear, right? Okay, that's it for today class. So just to practice how creating some state in the class component in the functional components. So once again, if revision, state is an object which holds the component information. So it is only component level data. We cannot use the outside the component. Okay. And second thing is we cannot change the state information directly. If you want to change the state information, we need to use the setState function in the class components. In the class component, using this the state, we create the state object. If you want to change this the setState, we can change the state values. Coming to the functional component, if you want to create the state in the functional component, we use the use state hook by creating the constant, the state name, and using the use state, we get default value. If you want to change the state value, using the second argument is a function. So this is the way how we change the state in the functional components. That's it for today class. Okay. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.